What's good? YouTube, it's your boy Flash Speaks back, man. Listen, I was just looking at over the WNBA rosters, these teams that are going to be upcoming. And this morning I just happened to be looking at the Indiana Fever's roster and looking at the coach and the coach's experience, Stephanie White, so on and so forth. And this is going to be very interesting. I wanted to kind of talk about them briefly. Listen, make no mistake. I think the first thing is clear. The Indiana Fever is going for it. This roster is loaded to the brim. All right, you're talking about the addition of players like Dewana Bonner, champion. You know she's 37 years old, which is damn near a million years old, but she could have a couple of games left. You could have a couple of good years left. She was pretty good last season, made All-Star team. A very skilled player without a doubt. Good length, size, all of that stuff. Very skilled, and she also obviously knows the coach because she was under Stephanie White last season with the Connecticut Sun. Now, the one great thing for Indiana Fever is the abolition of the Connecticut Sun, if you will. The fact that that was the team that they could not get through last season. The Connecticut Sun destroyed them last year in the playoffs, swept them, and typically the way it usually works in the world is when a team finds a stumbling block with a particular team, they usually get to go reset and come back, and sometimes it may take a couple of years to figure that team out. Fever don't even have to do that. They were able to go get the coach from that team. That's literally like, if you could go back to just the first thing that comes to my mind is the 1980 Bulls, the 80s, Bulls of the 80s, who ran into a stumbling block with, the first stumbling block was the Boston Celtics, but they were never really rivals of the Celtics. I would say the Detroit Pistons, okay? And that's like the Bulls just leaving and then picking up, Bill Laimbeer and Chuck Daly. I'm gonna take your coach and one of your top front court players. That's literally like, or taking that's literally what happened here. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So they don't have to worry about the Connecticut Sun. You gotta get over that stumbling block. But there may be other teams that come up out of nowhere that they have to get through. But you add Dewana Bonner, okay? You add the biggest addition, I think, the most impactful addition will be the Natasha Howard. Talking about a player who scored almost 18 points last season, albeit for a team that didn't really do much, but whatever. You're talking about a top. So you're talking about they had two great defensive players, because the main thing the Indiana Fever needed was defense. They don't learn how to play defense, they're not going to do anything. I've always said that. I don't care who they pick up. But here, you're picking up defensive players. Tasha Howard's a hell of a defensive player. Dewana Bonner is good as well. She has length and some speed and stuff like that. Quick hands for defense and all those different things. Brianna Turner, man, wow. And that's another defensive player, defensive addition. So from a roster standpoint, and then of course Sophie Cunningham, who I think is more so going to be an added floor spacer, that sort of thing. Defense wise, I know she's known for her toughness and so on, and people reminded me that she had this black belt, though she was 6 freaking years old or whatever. Sydney Colson you add as well, but I think she's more so for bench depth. No, she was not there because she's running away from AJ Wilson. That's bullshit, okay? So don't believe that the fanatical crap. And I also don't believe all these players necessarily came, just to play with Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, I got to play with Caitlin Clark. I think Dewana Bonner was more so about I believe she played for the Fever before, and then Stephanie White was her coach. And sometimes, you want to play for your old coach. You know the system. This is not unprecedented. Sometimes a coach will go to a new team and they'll bring players from the previous team who knows exactly what they want, what they expect, and who will help coach the other players along. Because I don't know that they're certain that Caitlin Clark is ready right now to be the leader of the team. I make no mistake, she was not the leader of the team last year. But she was a rookie, so that's okay to not necessarily be the leader of the team. But I think it's known that she may not even be the leader this year. Maya Moore, a few weeks ago, when asked about what Clark should expect in the second year, or what jump she should make, that was the first thing she brought up was leadership. Now, I don't know this for certain, but just think about it. Stephanie White, it's likely she knows Maya Moore. It's likely these people talk, okay? And it's likely that she may have, I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate too much, but just from early things I'm going to go into, because I've watched some of these Caitlin Clark videos of her working out all over the place, and one was her working out with Stephanie White, and I saw Stephanie White giving Caitlin Clark instructions, coaching her, and then I don't know, I don't put too much into this type of stuff, but I kind of did see Caitlin Clark with a look on her face, kind of like a, if someone's getting on your nerves and you kind of okay, I got it type of thing, she appears to be a person with a little bit of attitude. I think she might have a little bit of attitude there. Now, maybe that's a problem, maybe not, but I'm going to tell you what could possibly be an issue here for this team, and this is something that I've already talked about last year. Okay, so you got this player with this big fan base, right? A fan base that thinks she's the greatest thing since the slicing of bread was discovered, or since margarita pizza was invented by Queen Margherita of Italy, right? So that's their mindset, and that's what they think. So they're already more invested in Caitlin Clark than any of the other players. Now they love Sophie Cunningham, I see. I'm not surprised. Blondie with the blue eyes, and she's her legs all out, and so I'm not surprised that she sells out. That fan base would love her as well. Not surprised at that. But this is the thing here. This fan base cares more about Caitlin Clark than everybody else, right? So last season, right, what was being put out all over the place was how bad of a coach Christy Sides was, okay? They didn't give a damn about new roster. They cared nothing about none of that. They expected this stuff to just come off from the rip, right? Anytime Caitlin Clark is out the game, why is she not in the game? Anytime she played off the ball, why is she playing off the ball? This is the worst coach ever. Then Caitlin Clark starts playing damn near every minute of the game, right? Highest usage rate probably I've ever seen a rookie have. Nobody got a problem with any of that. But whenever they lose, it's not Caitlin Clark's fault. It's Christy Sides' fault. Whenever they win, Christy Sides didn't do anything to help win. Is all Caitlin Clark's reason they won. When same fan base that when they began to turn it around, because the initial turnaround, if you remember earlier in the season, after they went 0-7 or 7-1, whatever it was in the beginning, it was pretty disastrous. With the turnaround started with this great game by Aaliyah Boston. I think she had 30 and double-digit rebounds as well. People were saying, we don't want to watch this. They were actually angry at this win, even though it was a victory, right? So now what I'm concerned about is that same spirit coming into this year. Because think about it. You got Natasha Howard, 18-point scorer. You got Aaliyah Boston, who can get you double-digit points around 14, 15, right? You got Kelsey Mitchell, who gets you between 16 and 20. You got Dwana Bonner, who can get you double-digit points. You got Sophia Cunningham, who I'm sure going to want her points. You got, you ain't worry about no Lexi Hogden, right? Damn, Erica Willis still there? Ain't that something? Um, and then you got CC Clark, okay? Who that's all they care about. So now what I'm interested in seeing is how this works, because this could go one or two ways. There is a world where if the coach is listened to and the guidance of the coach is respected, that I think this could be a team that shares the ball and can be damn near unstoppable all the way to the finals. I think there's a world where that can happen. Look at the Connecticut Sun last season. Okay, they had a star. Their star is Alyssa Thomas last year. Alyssa Thomas, who proved in that series last year against Indiana Fever that she was the best player on the floor. So that was just another player that's better than Caitlin Clark, right? For y'all who don't want to hear it, right? Because y'all keep trying to compare her to some damn Agent Wilson, when she couldn't get past Natasha, couldn't get past Alyssa Thomas. Okay, these are the facts of the matter. You want to watch that series? Alyssa Thomas dominated that series. Okay, just her presence on the floor dominated the series. Okay, look at the Connecticut Sun last year. Their leading scorer average is what? About 15. Their second leading scorer, about 14 and 13, 12. Nobody's averaging 19, 20. Okay? They were a team that was predicated on team ball, team defense, team assists, high team assists. Only Alyssa Thomas had a number of assists that kind of stood out. Okay? But on a daily basis, everybody's kind of getting assists. Everybody's kind of sharing the ball. Now, if Stephanie White could get this roster to play like that team, Fever could be dangerous. We talking about top 3 seeding and going all the way. Possibly to face a team like the Aces in the finals or New York or something like that. I think the roster suggests that, and the coaching suggests that those things are possible. However, as with all things, players have to buy in, and in particular, superstars have to buy in. Now, I know most of you think the best player on that roster will be Caitlin Clark. That's going to be the first problem, because one could argue Kelsey Mitchell, and what she does, her role, just as good as Caitlin Clark, if not better. Natasha Howard, just as good as Caitlin Clark, if not better. DeWanna Bonner, just as good as Caitlin Clark, but not if not better, right? Aaliyah Boston, I already believe was the best player on the team last season, right? So you got these. So now, how do we manage these egos? Because I'm telling you right now, it can go two ways. The one way I mentioned is if they all share the ball in synchronomically, in synchronicity, or whatever the word is, in synchronization, okay? And then the other option is we're going to go play Caitlin ball. We're going to make sure Caitlin get her numbers. The triple, double queen got to get her, because that crowd out there, that's what they coming to see. They ain't coming to see Natasha Howard dominate. They ain't coming to see Leah Boston dominate. They ain't coming to see, DeWanna Bonner dominate. They might not mind seeing Sophia Cunningham dominate, though. They might not mind that, because her jersey's selling out like hotcakes too. They might not mind that, right? But I remember these people used to get mad when Kelsey Mitchell go off. They get mad when Aaliyah Boston go off if CC ain't getting her numbers, right? So what happens with CC ain't getting her numbers? What's going to happen? What happens if you got a path towards efficient scoring, like dumping it into Natasha, dumping that thing into Aaliyah, right? Letting Kelsey cook. What if you got that path to scoring? But that may lead to CC's numbers being down. Then what? Y'all gonna be happy or y'all gonna be mad? How that's gonna work? And then How you gonna be in the crowds, in the stands? You gonna cause all these problems? You gonna put pressure on the coach to just let it be CC ball? And if it is CC ball, you think these great players just gonna sit there and watch her play? You think she that damn good? That's how that go? Where all they do is sit around and wait for her to pass the ball so that way she got 10 assists, 12 assists, 19 assists, 30 damn assists a game, while everybody else got 1 assist, 2 assists. How that's gonna go? All y'all worry about is because right now I see a lot of you guys I'm talking to, some of you dudes coming in my thing right now. You talking about MVP odds? Like all the shit you worry about is whether or not CC be MVP. Right? MVP need a bunch of numbers, right? That's what you think. I'm just interested to see how this gonna go. So I think it could be a beautiful thing if people humble themselves and that player buys in, right? Because Stephanie White knows and your ass don't know. Bonner knows your ass don't know. Natasha knows your ass don't know why. They done won before. Y'all favorite player ain't won nothing at no time ever. Okay? But you think she know everything. I remember last year y'all was saying she know more basketball than Christy Sides. I wonder who gonna be the first fool to say she know more basketball than Stephanie White. Like, watch, I'll bet you somebody say that. Even though Stephanie White is actually from Indiana and all that, but I don't think y'all care about that. I think it's gonna be fools that if Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark are at odds, how many of y'all gonna side with the coach? Tell her no. Shut your ass up and listen to the coach. Or most of y'all gonna be like, oh, Stephanie White got to go. I wonder how quick it'll be before Stephanie White got to go, in y'all opinion, because CC ain't up there playing CC circus ball. Because I'm wondering about this, right? Because this thing could be a beautiful thing. But also, I wonder if what y'all really want is CC surrounded by subpar players so that she could be the hero all the time. Because that's what I think y'all really want. I don't think y'all really want her on a loaded team. Because you know what a loaded team means? That means you got to share the ball. That means sometimes you ain't the best option. I already see Stephanie White. Now, Stephanie White got the right idea because I already see her already taking CC off the ball in practice. But I remember last year when Kathy Sides was doing that, you jokers was mad at that. Y'all ain't like her off the ball. Y'all want her on the ball all the time. And then you want to complain about people picking up 50 feet, 70 feet and all that. Right? This is going to be interesting to see. Because I think it got a potential to be a championship team. Or it could be a shit show. And either one I'm here for, especially that shit show, that's going to provide me a lot of laughter. I will come on here laughing like Vincent Price, okay? Watching y'all, okay? Yeah, that's going to be a riot. That's going to be a riot. Well, anyway, that's what I got on Indiana Fever, man. Next thing, I'm about to get into the Chicago Sky because they're going to be a lot better than y'all think. And then the other team I want to talk about is Dallas. I think Dallas is going to be something. So, get with y'all later, man. Peace out.